Hello, inspiring and energetic scholars. Welcome to the library webinar, Databases A to Z. We're going to go over the following things. What is a database? Anatomy of a database. CRAP and its relationship to research and search. Keywords, truncation, phrase searching, and Boolean logic. 10 databases, a super fast overview I hope you find terribly illuminating. First of all, when you look at databases A to Z on the library website, what that simply means is a list of alphabetized databases, just in alphabetical order, A to Z. You'll see this in so many libraries, Harvard, University of Washington, all types. So I just want you to be familiar with what it is. It is a list of databases. Now, we're going to kind of look at the fact you're already using databases every day. You have been for years and years and years. Well, maybe quite a few years. If you're using Netflix, Hulu, Pluto, Audible, or a podcast search, you're essentially using a database. You're using a resource that has a collection of electronic or digital sources inside of it. It generally has some form of search. It has some sort of thing that connects one thing to another. Sometimes, if it's really awesome, it'll tell you, hey, if you love this, you're really going to love the next thing. If it's Pluto, you might have a hard time finding something. And that is the same way that the library's database publishers are. They have some different things that they do. They're very specialized in some areas. Some are very general. Some are hard to use. Some are easy to use. Some are appropriate to some assignments and some are not. Here we have over 100. Some of the college you are going to, they have 600 and 700. That's right, 600 or 700. Again, it's going to have some essential pieces. You're going to have a search or a searches. So when you go to a database, you're looking for a search. It usually has a purpose or focus that it does. Contains usually publications. Sometimes it has videos. Sometimes it has podcasts. Sometimes it has documents. Sometimes it has primary materials, secondary resources, scholarly articles, quantitative and qualitative research, full text, keywords, abstracts. Oh, and in glorious moments, it has suggested searches and sources. When you're going into the databases and you're going in to build your search, you can build some of those key concepts in there. Currency, relevancy, authority, purpose. Just my brain sort of just right there. The other A is for accuracy. That's a really important piece. So when choosing the databases and using your search, all of these are great. You can actually use currency as part of your search. Your relevancy is driven by your problem or thesis statement. If it doesn't answer your question, support it, or somehow enhance or guide or provide you something you can synthesize and use in your work, it's simply not relevant. One of the huge things that should drive your search and also your topic statement is the rubric. That also has to do with what databases you may choose to use. Make sure you look not just at your assignment, but your rubric. Do you need to have 2 scholarly articles? Do you need to have primary sources? Do you need to have a certain number of things in order to get full points? Take a look at that to make sure you're going into your research fully prepared to deliver what your instructor and professor needs to see. These are the 3 main search tricks. You see what it is? All the search tricks, well, the big ones. These will get you through so many things. First of all, truncation. Usually the asterisk is used, and what you do is take a word that has different suffixes, and you put the asterisk just to the point where it breaks, and it will search all of these words. Trauma, traumatic, traumatizing. Put in an asterisk, search this, and you'll get all these words. This is going to save you so much time and get you more quality things by using all the different types of ways that word is used when people are talking about it. Phrase searching. This is a pretty big one. People don't often do it. This actually works on Google as well. Put your phrases inside of quotes. That way the words are searched together. Again, totally improves the quality of your search. Boolean searching is a great way to clean up your search. Sometimes you don't have enough search results to really do this. It's according to your topic and how specific you are, but you can use and, or not. And I'm going to show you how to do this in some of the 10 databases we're going to look at. But first of all, and that means if you look for this word and this word, you're going to get in your search results where those things overlap. If you look for or, you're going to look for all the words all together. This is really useful when you're using synonyms or words that might have changed meaning. Sometimes when I'm doing marketing research, I'll do marketing, branding, or advertising. Let me do that better. Marketing or branding or advertising. Sort of get a full range of things. It helps you take things out of your search that keep recurring or keep putting junk in your search results. For instance, if I was to do something on Florida and botany, or I could get something on Florida and plants. But if I went Florida and plants, I would get things like nuclear plants. So if my search results come out with too many things that aren't working for me, in this case, I'd go not nuclear. Google also has a way to do this. You just put a minus in front of it. I get in my searches sometimes a lot of Pinterest things. You will often see me do minus Pinterest inside my Google searches. Launch out of this little slideshow and go do the real thing. I'm not going to clean it up a lot, and in some cases I'm going to go really, really fast. I'm going to cover two of our broad, most general databases that cover everything from astronomy to zoology. I'm going to show you Proquest, probably very intensely. Academic Search Premier, I'm going to show you how to turn it into more than one specialized database, and you can make your own search databases all put together, customized for what you need to do. Then I'm going to show you some of our specialized, 8 of them in fact, databases that we have available. Business Insights Global, I'm going to show you College Skills Success. I'm not going to really demo it, but I need to make sure you know it's there. If you're having some skills that you need to pick up on, you really need to go check this out. It also helps you with test prep of various kinds. Culturegrams is specific to a couple classes and assignments you have really work for this. Ebooks is glorious. We've actually doubled, if not tripled, our holdings over the summer, and I can't wait for you to see them. Global Issues and Context is actually one of our most used databases, but people don't always use it completely. They don't always find things that they're looking for, or they dip out too early. And it's really complex and awesome, so I want to make sure you understand that. And essentially all the other in context series, including opposing viewpoints. Also, Newsbank, we just renewed it, is fabulous. You may not feel the whole fabulousness, but when it comes down where you're trying to look for local news, hot news, cutting edge stuff, understand opinion, how people in different parts of the country or the world may feel about a topic, it's a beautiful place to research. Statistical Abstracts of the United States, those are primary sources, all data. Health Resource, Nursing and Academic, that's very specialized, but I will make sure you guys realize we have things on a professional level. Now, let's go. It's going to be quite the ride. Remember, if you don't understand anything here, reach out to me. We can meet on Zoom, do this one-on-one, and I'll help you through your assignments. This 10 database overview is not meant to scare you, but to help you see a taste of the 100 databases we have. First thing, I want to make sure you know how to get to the library. If you go to bigbend.edu, go to Academics, use the drop-down box, hit Library, here we go. Now, this is the section we've been talking about. And this is how I try to keep up with what's working or not. I also developed the website, so if you ever have any input, I'd be glad to hear from you. Here is the section, Databases A to Z. You'll see immediately, currently we have 132. When you go to other colleges and places, this number is going to be quite huge, or about the same. You'll see. We have here, if you can't figure out what you're supposed to be looking at, we have them broken down by subjects like environment, culture, criminal justice, college success, all these different little pieces, psychologies, science, and this will help you get to the places that you need to be. That said, I'm going to take you to Academic Search Premier. You can find it alphabetically right here. So here we will do our search. You'll see the Boolean operators are already set up for your use. You'll also see here choose databases, because guess what? With this database, you can choose more than one to search at the same time. Suppose you're working on something in business. You'll be able to come here and search the big, huge database that covers astronomy to astrology. You will see Business Source Elite. If it has to do with computers, you may or may not want to include that. Hey, if you want some ebooks as well, include those. You can include every single ebook part we have. Over here, social, regional, business, news, absolutely. And I'm going to select OK. Now I'm searching more than one database, and I've picked the ones that have to do with my idea. I'm going to just put in supply chain management. I might be looking for theories or other things, in which case I can add here. It's going to take a minute to do the search. Here I have my search results. I have way too many to work with, so I'm going to need to move it down a little bit. I'm just trying to see. I'll pick one of the terms, and I'm going to narrow it down to this. And this is very freeform because I did not even check if I could pronounce this accurately. So now we have 54. It is a little bit more specific. I'm going to go here to select full text because that means what I see is what I'll get. And that did reduce it quite a bit. And if I need scholarly articles or other things, I can make that decision here. I can move the dates. Remember I was talking about putting currency inside of your search? This is where you would do that. But I also have some other options. Let me come down here. This will let me see some other subjects. If you see from this, I might be able to truncate this word to make it a better search. I also can search with different pieces, publishers. I can add in different words. I can search other types of information as well. So on the left-hand side is a very complete package of things I can do. Now I'm going to go into this just to show you what it looks like. When you go into here, it's like details about it. These are things that you'll need for your citations. The last names of the authors. These are things that you might want to take if you're doing the research. Go in here and pull out these keywords and use them for yourself. Also, if it has a digital object identifier, which is key in MLA and APA, if it is here, it will say distinctly DOI. So it's not any of these other numbers. You don't have to guess, and you'll be able to use that. And wonderfully, over here, on the right-hand side, you have all sorts of things you can do. Print, email, save. Now, the site will take you to a place you should copy and correct, but not use as is. Suppose you're going to be using this is APA. If you go to the Writing Center, they have manuals, they have some documents that you can download and check your work. Here, everything seems to be going okay for APA 7th edition, except for the DOI situation, because it should just kind of not have the proxy information. Almost every one of these will have something you need to fix. Sometimes it's the author, sometimes it's the title. Pretty much nothing is ever fully capitalized, so that's always also a place that you should question, is this right? But if you always understand copy and correct, that will be the rule. In most parts, when we're seeing these databases, when you see like quotation marks or cite, that is where you'll find these types of things. So that is a really fast overview of Academic Search Premier, how you can choose databases to make your own database, how you can harvest more keywords, how you can find a citation that you will copy and correct. Now we're going to Proquest, which I think has some qualities like Netflix. Now here, I'm going to Proquest, P for Proquest. I could also type in the name of the database over here if I knew what it was. I'm going to go here. Oftentimes your instructor will tell you the name, so that is a very helpful area. I'm going to do supply chain, and I'm putting it in quotes, and I will put management here. And to narrow it down, of course, I would need to have other words. I'm going to use this to limit to full text. What I see is what I want to get. I'm going to put peer reviewed because I looked at the rubric, let's say, and it said that I needed 2 scholarly articles. I also have scholarly article presentations if you need to understand what that means. I can pick something like the last 3 years. Sometimes when you're in health and other areas, they want the last 3 to 5 years. And I will go to search. This is going to bring me up a list of search results that I can further narrow down. I can change my source types, change my date, look at other subjects, harvest those if I need to do so. I'm going to look at this particular item. I can see that it has abstracts and details, full text, and PDF. When you have an option, read the PDF. That's the actual image from the article, and usually it's full of the most information. So I'm going to select PDF. I'm going to move my screen over because now the goodness is on the right hand side. Now, this is the PDF. You can see that it has all the authors. Let's talk just for a second about scholarly and peer-reviewed. It's usually going to have a title that's uses professional language. We're going to know who wrote it, in fact, where they are, and sometimes how to contact them. There's a great deal of transparency. Generally, a scholarly article will have an abstract. It will have an introduction. Look, it's going to give you some more keywords to harvest and use in your research. And as you go down, you'll see an introduction, and it's going to have actual spots. First thing it's going to have the literature review and the things that they did to come up with these ideas, the support, and the way that they formed their research. And then we'll start seeing the sections, the planning, the math, the execution, the coordination, the model, the method, what they're doing. And this one's quite long, but you'll see all of the pieces, all of their work. If you're not seeing this, it may be a secondary source and not a primary, because this is the prime area of what this will look like. And most importantly, it's going to have a list of references. When they say something, they tell you where they read it. So this is an awesome scholarly article, if lengthy, I will assume. But here, in addition, if this works, they also give you related items that you may also use, and you can also search with some of their subjects as well. So it's kind of a complete package in that if you like this, like Netflix, you may also like this. Also, at the top, let me bring this up. I want you to see it. It has the place where you can print, save, and email, and cite. Again, copy and correct. Do not copy and use. The third database is Business Insights Global. This is going to have things like a SWOT analysis, strengths, weakness, opportunities, and threats. I really love that breakdown, and that's really wonderful. When you see these, and you often will, it's because we use a proxy. Go to Advanced and overwrite it. Please proceed to that place. I haven't been there in a while, so that's going to come up for me. Here I can enter the name of a company or the ticker symbol. You can see that it has a thing for full text only. And this is the type of things you can find. If you're doing research on building your own company, a new company, a company that exists, if you're trying to look at strengths and weaknesses, of course, opportunity, threats. If you're trying to understand and find different reports, investment and financial reports, including things like the key ratio, or the history of the company, here it is. Also talks about industry, so if you're trying to understand a company in context of industry, you have the information to work with here. Also has comparison charts, case studies, and glossary. Next one will be college skills. I'm not going to go into it greatly. See, for college skills, college success skills, you're going to have to create your own account with them, like you go when you do Office 365, and it's going to help you with classroom success skills, information literacy, personal success skills, and if you go into Prep Step, which is another version, you can go in and practice different tests in order to prepare for those. Standardized tests. Culturegrams is the next one, C, because it is alphabetic A to Z, culturegrams. And this is going to be a little bit different. You're going to get to touch visuals and do things like that instead of typing in all the words and kind of being exhausted doing all the things. If you're trying to look for something in the world, click world, then pick a continent. You can also point to it, and it'll bring up all the different countries that you can do research on. Things like Algeria, for instance, and it'll give you ethnographic information, holiday, society, health, and other things that might be great for your project, including things like attitudes, personal appearance, population, language, and more. It's really good, it's crisp, and it's fast and easy to use. Now going to E for ebooks. You can just tap the first one, ebooks, well, second one. This should have all of them, but I did separate them out in case you wanted to be more specific. Now, this can search every single word, but generally this field is okay. But I want you to know you have different fields, titles, and authors that you can look for. There's quite a few awesome books in here, so I really hope you use this. So let's try something like global warming, and I'm not going to fancy it up with any quotations. And I'm going to use this because guess what? They've already tried to find something to help me out. They have built my search for this topic. Now, when you come here and you find this is the one that you want to look at, the place where I've had some students struggle is this. I went a little bit too far here. Let me back up. I'm trying to reach the details of the book before I take you into it, but this one goes straight in there. So it might be how this one is set up. If you do a full download, maybe on this one it's missing, so I'll go through the next one. Again, I'm showing you the ugly parts of this. Sign in. You're going to create your own account with them, just like you do with Office 365 or with College Skills, and then you'll be able to do the download. But you don't really need to do that. I believe this pulled up the PDF without us really having to ask, and that really is the way to go. And I'll show you another example. One of the great things about it is the search within. So this will actually, once you find the book, you can still search inside of the book. So if we're looking for global warming, and if we want to see something about airplanes, I don't know if that's in there, by the way. Nope, it does not cover airplanes. I'm going to put air pollution. And it's going to bring up in context, like slight context, how it goes together. But this just beautifully illustrated what happens sometimes when you don't put something in quotes. It put air and then pollution. In this case, you might have wanted it, you may not. And now this cleans it up a little bit. So when you go to these pages, it takes you to this area and you can just read that section, which may be the only section you need. Or you can read it in the more traditional way, table of contents, chapters, and the whole thing. Okay, and this happens to librarians, so it'll happen to you all the time. This changed a little bit. So now you have your options here. PDF is the one that you can do that search in. You can read it on any device. Same for this. If you go for full download, you're going to have to go do the sign in and create an account to be able to do so. But anyway, these are beautiful. They're full text. You can get to them 24/7, and they are gorgeous, illuminating, and great resources. And they'll look great in your references. Now we're going to G for global issues. In Context. In Context is a series that's put together by the publisher Gale. Maybe not entirely like Netflix, they don't always do suggestions, but it's a hand-curated database where they go out and pick things that have to do about these topics. When you come to the front page, I'm going to kind of take you down it. If you're having a hard time, a struggle finding a topic, come here. If you look over here, it has 671 topics. 671 topics, and they are packaged for your success. They have some topical things up here on their slider, but when you go into here, you'll have a very nice little package. This functions like Wikipedia when you cannot use Wikipedia. This little overview is going to be a lot of information that you can call into your research, like the name of law and legislation and other things that we have to do with this. It's going to break things down to academic journals, videos, audio, reference, newspapers. And you're like, what? this is a total package, but it doesn't cover everything. If it uses a newspaper, it may be Washington Post and New York Times and not a local Washington newspaper. And sometimes the images aren't as promising as you want, but sometimes the videos are good. They're very brief, and they may be good for presentations. So the other delightful thing is that they are full text. What you see is what you get, and you don't have to click on a button. And it has vast information. And another thing you can do as well, if you look at your rubric, you know, I have to have 3 scholarly journals. I have to have a video. I have to have a primary source. This has it all packaged for your success. Now we're going to end for Newsbank. Remember when I said global issues didn't particularly have depth in terms of newspapers and news magazines? You're about to experience depth. This is Newsbank. Now here I do more search options right up front, so I can look at the different fields. If you've studied journalism, you may know that most of the information is in the lead paragraph. And here, guess what we could search? Specifically, the lead paragraph. Now this is important because this is a vast full-text database. Look, it covers the world. In fact, that's one of the ways you could narrow it down. You could search different places. If you only wanted to look at newspapers in Washington State, you can do that. If you want to compare newspapers on a topic between Washington State and New York, you can do that. If you want to look at, see what somebody may think of a topic or an occurrence or an event in Nigeria, yes, you could do that. This is the database for that. You can find news, up-to-date information, current events, and opinion. Now, using the lead paragraph should narrow things down. I'm just going to give you a little search. I can also put that in quotes to see how it'll come up. You can also change your date ranges. You can get things that are as close as today. This talks about messages from China, so we could see if we did not want that. Look at this, China. We're getting rid of China in this search by using not. And it may be stuck right now, but as it's fixing itself, you can also change the dates and other things on the left-hand side as you work. Oh, I have dates. I'm going to keep that in there because you need to say I had a drop-down box. I'm going to get rid of it in all text everywhere. So we had 293,000 results. But now I seek to get rid of China. And I did, and I reduced it somewhat, got rid of 40,000 articles. I can also add different places, take away places, look at the different things. Also, you have news magazines as well. These usually are great secondary resources for understanding current topics. And again, while global resources and opposing viewpoints are glorious, they don't have the depth that these do. These are not hand curated. You, the researcher, can go out and find anything you want that's been printed in these newspapers. We're going to look at Statistical Abstract. Statistical Abstract is primary sources, that is statistics. They don't tell you what they mean, and they don't put them in context of comparing one thing to another. They give you raw data. This is really important for you to use in many different projects. It's very awesome to include these in speeches to support your viewpoint, to compare two different ideas. You can search things specifically here if you'd like to do so, or go through the topics to kind of see what may be available to you. I just clicked on Business Enterprise and it's been kind of slow, so I may regret that. Anyway, it's in this case, they're showing you something about taxes. You can look at unemployment. You can find out how many people own TVs or how many people have different types of family structures. It's amazingly detailed in what you can find. And if it just isn't up to date, it at least gives you enough information that you can go find that report and where it's at. This, see, raw data, primary sources. This tells you it came from the IRS. This gives you a clue as a researcher where you can continue doing your research. Sorry, I had a little sneezing run there. And it usually gives you links as well. Beautiful, raw, primary source. Statistical Abstract. Most of it culled from government data. And you can find things that go back for many decades. I'm now going to show you a nursing database. It's under Health and Health Source Nursing Academic. I just want you to be aware that we have professional level databases as well as things that will support your research generally and some of your speech writing, religion, psychology, and other courses. I'm going to do research on best practices. When you're doing evidence-based research, it requires a certain level of evidence. Sometimes it wants a different type of research, something as high as something called a systematic review. There's actually a pyramid of evidence, evidence-based practice evidence, where one type of research is better than another. So when you're doing research in this particular database, sometimes you can actually select for that, or you can use that term in your research to get what you want. Now in health, usually you want 3 to 5 years. When it comes to scholarly articles, because they take so long to get published, that 3-year piece is really difficult. I'm going to put in here wound. I'll start typing. You'll see it will put some things. And click search. And it will identify things that are specific to those 2 items and bring them up. New tools in wound care to support evidence-based practice. I did show you how to find the citations and why you choose this over that. Specifically in the sciences and nursing, make sure when you have that option, PDF all the way. It's the actual image of the article. If you need to make sure that it's scholarly peer-reviewed, select these. But remember, it could be in a scholarly journal and not be a scholarly article. That's why you need to check the pieces. Hey, and also take my webinar or go to my page on the library website about scholarly articles and get further information on how to identify those. I tell you what, you'll thank me for many years of your academic life for that, because once you see it, you can't unsee it. Professor wanted to make sure that you reviewed this, recorded. Reach out to me, or there should be in the area of this video a link for you to fill in and tell me what you learned here. And if you have any feedback or if you have any questions, rhondak@bigbend.edu. And if you ever need help, please reach out and ask a librarian. That's what we're here for, and that's what we love. We love questions. So have a great day and reach out to us when you need us.